Hi, my name is Brian Dean. I've worked in the animated feature film industry for almost 20 years. I've worked on 17 animated feature films at various studios. Recently, I've teamed up with my friend Kevin Kapersky to create our own studio, Amulet Studios. With Amulet Studios and using the Unreal game engine, we hope to be able to start producing some of our own stories. But before we can begin tackling any of these bigger projects, we need a reliable production pipeline. Having worked in the film industry for so long on so many different movies, I've been exposed to lots of different pipelines and I've seen lots of things that work and things that don't work. But the things that work for a big studio with hundreds of people and hundreds of millions of dollars may not be the best fit for a small team with small budgets working with the Unreal game engine. Now, in each one of these behind the scenes videos, I'm going to focus on a couple aspects of the production process that I went through. Quick disclaimer, this isn't really meant to be a tutorial, and this isn't meant to say this is how you should do things or this is the best way to do things. This series is more about me trying out various different ways to do things and then seeing how it works out. So with that being said, let's jump into the rest of the video. For these cinematics, I didn't want to use any of our existing stories or characters, so I was going to need some fresh ideas. To help with this, I turned to the first AI tool I'm going to talk about, which is Midjourney. I'm sure everyone knows what Midjourney is by now. It's one of the most popular and widely used AI image generation tools. It generates images based on text prompts entered using a Discord account. You can tailor your prompts to give you very specific styles and looks, or you can just keep it vague and give it a very vague prompt and let it go crazy and get lots of really wild stuff. But it's a great way to spark your imagination and come up with lots of ideas really quickly. With Midjourney, I was able to quickly generate lots of images and lots of ideas for some really cool scenes. I then narrowed them down to select a few favorites, making sure that each scene could realistically be completed within a few weeks. I chose this image for the first scene I'd be creating. With an idea and a concept image, it was time to hop into Unreal and start building. As the scene started coming together, I started working out potential angles that I would shoot from and also tried to think about what the story might be. This was kind of a fluid, non-linear process. I would set up cameras and render out test shots from Unreal, then bring them into DaVinci Resolve, edit them into a rough cut, and then I would go back and forth with this process several times before I finally arrived at a preliminary final edit. Now, I decided to skip any character dialogue to keep things simple and instead opted for a narrator to add story depth. To create the narration, I turned to two AI tools which I used in tandem, which I'll talk about now, ChatGPT and ElevenLabs. I fed ChatGPT a detailed description of the scene, trying to convey the mood, the actions, and the overall atmosphere I was going for. Once I was confident that ChatGPT had a grasp of the scene, I asked it to write out a script for a narrator. Now, some of the things it spit out I liked, and some things I didn't. So this involved generating several iterations where I selected the parts I liked from the various versions and cut the parts out that I didn't, and then combined them all and edited it all into a cohesive final script. With that in hand, I moved to the next stage, which was creating the narrator's voice with ElevenLabs. There are lots of different text-to-speech tools out there, but ElevenLabs is by far the best I've come across. There are lots of options for voices. You can choose from a library of pre-made voices, or you can create and design your own. Using their voice lab, I opted to design my own voice for the narrator, which I thought sounded cinematic and appealing. Once I had the voice, I headed to the speech synthesis section and entered my narrator's script. You can get a wide range of readings from ElevenLabs by playing with a few sliders in the voice settings tab in the speech synthesis window. However, the platform doesn't really provide an extensive level of performance direction, so it's hard to tell it exactly what you want. Achieving the exact tone or style you're aiming for often involves a bit of trial and error. And like with ChatGPT, you'll need to create multiple versions, tweaking the settings each time, and then combining the best elements of each to arrive at a final nuanced voiceover which you are looking for. Those three AI tools, Midjourney, ChatGPT, and ElevenLabs, played invaluable roles in bringing this scene to life. They were hugely beneficial with this fast run and gun approach, and I'll be using this same workflow for the future cinematics I'm making for this series. Alright, so that's about the end of this video, but this is just the beginning for us here at Amulet Studios. We have ambitious plans for the future, and we plan to be making a lot more content, which hopefully you'll find useful and interesting. And if so, your support would really mean the world to us. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you won't miss any future videos.